Today we are going to study the poem Ode to the West Wind by B. Shelley. This is part first of this video. About the poet. Shelley was born on 4th of August 1792 at Horsham in Sussex, England. He was educated at Eton and University College. His spouses were Harriet Westbrook, whom he married in 1811, and Westbrook died in 1816. Shelley then married Mary Shelley in 1816. Shelley was one of the greatest English Romantic poets. He was the finest lyric and philosophical poets in the English language. Shelley died at a very young age of 29 on the 8th of July 1822 in Italy. The important works of Shelley include the poems Ozymandias, To a Skylark, Music When Soft Voices Die, The Cloud. The verse drama written by him include The Cenci and the essay Defense of Poetry was published posthumously. Coming to the first stanza of the poem, O wild west wind, thou breath of autumn's being, thou from whose unseen presence the leaves dead are driven, like ghosts from an enchanter fleeing, yellow and black and pale and hectic red, pestilence-stricken multitudes, O thou who charioteest to the dark wintry bed, the winged seeds, where they lie cold and low, each like a corpse within its grave, until thin azure sister of the spring shall blow her clarion over the dreaming earth, and fill, driving sweet birds like flocks to feed in air, with living hues and odors, plain and hill, wild spirit, which art moving everywhere, destroyer and preserver, hear, O hear. In the first stanza, the wind's action over the land is being discussed. How the wind blows over the leaves of various colors to make them fall is described. The west wind is portrayed as a destroyer and preserver. It makes the leaves to fall, and this is the act of a destroyer. The wind carries the seeds and buries them elsewhere, which is the act of a preserver. The poet mentions spring. Upon its arrival, the valley will be filled with vibrant colors and pleasant smells. Coming to stanza second of the poem, thou on whose stream, mid the steep sky's commotion, loose clouds like earth's decaying leaves are shed, shook from the tangled boughs of heaven and ocean, angels of rain and lightning. There are spread on the blue surface of thine airy surge, like the bright hair uplifted from the head of some fierce Maynard, even from the dim verge of the horizon to the zenith's height, the locks of approaching storm. Thou dirge of the dying year, to which this closing night will be the dome of a vast sepulchre, vaulted with all thy congregated might of vapours, from whose solid atmosphere black rain and fire and hail will burst, O hear. The action of west wind over the sky is described in this stanza. The arrival of the west wind as coming together of clouds and approaching storms is described. The west wind is depicted as the messenger of thunder and lightning. Shakespeare presents west wind as the funeral song of the dying year and asks it to listen to him. Coming to stanza third of the poem, thou who didst waken from his summer dreams the blue Mediterranean, where he lay lulled by the coil of his crystalline streams, beside a pumice isle in Bai's Bay, and saw in sleep old palaces and towers quivering within the waves' intenser day, all overgrown with azure moss and flowers, so sweet the sense faints picturing them. Thou for whose path the Atlantic's level powers cleave themselves into chasms where far below the sea blooms and the oozy woods which wear the sapless foliage of the ocean know thy voice, and suddenly grow grey with fear, and tremble and despoil themselves. O hear! In the third stanza, the action over the water of west wind is being described. The west wind awakens the Mediterranean Sea from its deep slumber, deep sleep. The picture of the mosses growing upon the broken palaces and the movement of the plants because of the blowing of the west wind which passes over it is described. The poet also portrays the mighty Atlantic Ocean, which splits up to allow passage to the west wind.